Hello and welcome everybody to According to Andrew number 74, where we're going to be reviewing the War Dogs Inc. series. There isn't a lot of art and stuff out there on these, so I'm just going to give you the covers. These are the three different books that exist in this, and I'm really hoping that G.D. Stark writes some more because they are super fun books that I highly recommend. I did the audio book on all of these, and they're really well narrated, so I highly recommend them. Um, if you're not as much of like a reader type. But I'm sure they're great to read as well. But the narrator does a really good job of all the voices and stuff like that, and it's really good. So and this is set up in order, so it starts with War Dogs Inc., Battlesuit Bastards, then it's Hunter Killer, and Metal Monsters is the final one, and they're all really fun. It's kind of like a high tempo. Uh, ba- so basically, the premise of the book is you have this uh, group called War Dogs Incorporated that's set in the Quantum Mortis universe. And I don't know how many other books are set in this. So you have these three War Dogs books, and then you have Vox Day's uh, A Man Disrupted is set in that. Outside of those four, I'm not sure if there's any others that are written within this universe. But it's a really cool universe once you get kind of used to some of the. If you're not super into sci-fi like I wasn't when I started reading these, I read or I listened to A Man Disrupted first, and just some of the terminology you kind of got to get used to what they call their various guns and stuff like that. It's really not that big of a deal. Basically, they have stuff that does plasma and there's lasers and stuff like that. But once you get a little bit of the lingo, they're super fun and they're a blast to listen to. And so if you like um, war slash action type books, I recommend them. Um, so basically, what War Dogs is you have they're basically a mercenary company that is hired out to do various military jobs, and they have this, but it's set within these confines of these rules. So the rules basically are that in this world there are these different uh, there's these different planets that are all part of this federation, and each of these worlds is their own nation, and they kind of have different levels of technology that they've developed. And so one of the rules is if you send in a mercenary unit to help fight some of your wars or something like that, they have to use the same technology level as the people they're going to help. So that's one of the things that's kind of interesting. So in the first one, they're actually using um, technology from like basically our technology. So M16s and ceramic plate armor and stuff like that. So it's a good intro to kind of get used to the world because you're getting used to some of the other political situations and all the other terms, and then you have some familiarity with kind of the guns and some of the other stuff that's happening with the story and what is allowed in terms of military. You don't have to kind of come up with these crazy ideas on them. So that's super fun. Then Hunter Killer is like an assassination type plot, which is interesting. They're sent in to stop an assassination, um, and then the final one is they're sent in to turn the tide in a war where um, they have these huge metal monsters that are fighting and stuff like that, and it's just a uh, it would make for a really good action flick. Let's put it that way. And that's also something I kind of wanted to talk about with these books. You know, there's without kind of spoiling stuff, and I read the Hunter Killer and Battlesuit Bastards a while ago, and I just finished Metal Monsters last week or the week before, um, so I don't remember all the various details on them, but if you're looking for a high tempo, high action kind of uh, story that's set in sci-fi and is just kind of like a fun ride that's not too much of an investment. I haven't the audiobook was like 5 hours. I'm guessing that's 300 pages ish for reading or yeah if you got the book version. So and these are all available at Castelli House. So but I think all of these are very well suited to being adapted for other mediums. So I had one thing that I had asked uh, Vox Day when he was streaming was whether or not some of these, because they have Archaven, and I was wondering if some of these books would be adapted to, um, not War Dogs, to comics because they did adapt A Man Disrupted to the comic format, and I think these ones would be fit that really well because of there's a lot of craziness and action and stuff like that happening. And he shared a panel on one of he said they didn't have any plans for it, but they have Project Asteroid coming up, and he shared a panel on that looked like a scene from the last book, uh, and that I had happened to just finish like right as I saw his post on that. So I have a feeling that that the graphic novels of these or the comic book versions of these are going to be coming out relatively soon. Obviously, don't hold me to that, but if that's more your medium, I would say keep an eye out for that because I think they're very well suited for that, and I actually think they're really well suited for basically all the mediums. I think they'd make a great movies, action flick type setup, and it's also a great serialized like show type setup as well, where you could have like season after season, where you could just there's not a ton of pages with like 300 pages and stuff like that, but you could have a bunch of short seasons every year kind of thing on one of these books, and it's set up in such a way you have basically your crew of your main characters and stuff like that, but it's such a good uh, setup for so many other stories and various things that you could do with it that you could maybe create a secondary group that you're following with the War Dogs thing if you wanted to do more stories on it, do maybe some other spin-offs. And I just think it's really good. Like you could make like 500 of this type of book and it would still be refreshing. You could still have it through this like War Dogs lens, and it would still kind of be fun because you could find a different new things that were happening with various adaptations. And I'm really hoping that he makes more of these books because I believe this is all. And I'm not sure if he is planning to make any more books or release any more. Uh, but they alluded to something that kind of interesting that was maybe happening in the Quantum Mortis universe. So I'm hoping that is something that is written about in the future. You're gonna have to read and find out if you're interested in what I am talking about there. But yeah, that not too complicated, pretty simple. These are uh, if you like sci-fi, if you like action, you're gonna like these books. I highly recommend them, and they're definitely worth the listen or the read. Would recommend, am recommending. I'm not even would, am recommending. So that is my review of that, and hopefully you guys liked it. Check these books out, and have a good day. Goodbye.